Greetings and welcome to Saw Logs Plastic Hubs. This is your buddy Jim Detman. I've got a plastic project today. Go figure. My sweetheart Chris decided to purchase a antique vase at an auction. Not really a vase, it's more like a crockery jar. And she wants to use it to put umbrellas in. But she doesn't like the idea of basically letting them rattle around the top of the jar. So she came to me and said, can we make a gas spacer or a piece to go around this to protect the jar? And I said yes. So today you're going to see me take a big piece of Delrin and whittle it down into nothing. So sit back, enjoy, get your popcorn, your cold drinks, the friends around the computer. We're going to make some snowflakes out of Delrin today. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. I mean, it's nothing, the sizing isn't like real critical, but you kind of got to fit it. It's more of a visual thing. So, with no further ado, let's get to slinging a little bit this Delrin around. Okay, this morning, we're starting on a project. This is going to be a real simple sounding project, but yet again it's going to be a bit of a challenge. My sweetheart Chris recently purchased a vase, antique vase at an auction, and what she wants to do with it is use the vase like an umbrella storage. Well, because it is pottery and you're going to be laying umbrellas into it, she asked me to make like a bushing or a gasket. So what we're going to do is I ordered a piece of Delrin and I'm cutting it, and then we're going to make it round, then we're going to bore the center or cut the center out of it. A real simple job, and just set it down into the thing. Walk you through this. I know I've showed this on video before. What I do when I've got these situations is the first thing I do is I'm just going to put a hole in the center. I mean, there's lots of different, some people put them on 4-jaw chucks, but since all this in here is really going to be waste anyway, it's just much easier to use an arbor. And I'm going to kind of walk you through this time how I'm going to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is find center. And it's real simple to find center on a rectangular piece. So that's obviously the key to the whole thing, is getting as close to the center so you don't have to use as much material. So I'm not quite far enough down. There we go. So that's what we're going to go ahead and we're going to get it in the center of the y-axis right quick. Folks, the DROs is the handiest thing in the world. It makes these kind of jobs just a snap. And the only problem I see sometimes trying to get exact. I mean, if I'm with something like this, if I'm within a half a thousandth, I'm usually pretty well damn satisfied myself. So flat sheets are easier to come by than round, especially in Delrin. I had to actually buy this. I didn't actually have this piece in stock, so. Not like you say, that's we got zero locked up. Let me get a 1/2 inch drill. All I'm gonna do is poke a 1/2 inch hole right down through this. Gonna run this up a little bit. All right. There we go. Now I got a hole right there in the center, and I'll got to bring the next step, and I'll show you in just a second. If I'm machining this, what I'm going to do is basically, because this is a rectangle, it's not exactly true. So, but to make matters easiest, what I done was measure each side of the part to the here to here, here to here, about the thickest dimension, because it's still going to be out of round, obviously. So now all I'm going to do is a sanity check before we do a horseshoe cut. And so just make sure. And I don't know, may have to adjust that a little. Now what I'm going to do is just take this carpenter square, and I'm going to go to the outside of these lines because I know that I need a little bit more. And just lay this carpenter square here, just to the right to the outside edge of the line. Draw some lines, just like this. Again, this isn't precise. This is just getting us something to work with. And okay. Now back to the saw. Okay, now we go back to the. This is where I love my little saw, and we done laid all this out. Put it on the line. All we're doing is just saving trouble. We're making this into somewhat of an octagon. If you need a bigger diameter or something to put a hole in it, it doesn't matter whether it's Delrin, aluminum, or steel. This works pretty decent. You know, I prefer to use an arbor, and if you're using, you know, sometimes when you do the lathe work, you've got to be extremely patient. That's the key when you're doing this. So, you'll see here in a minute we set the lathe up. But this is really, this is a simple job actually, and the most important thing right now is to establish the outside of it. Buying a round of Delrin would be, this size would be really expensive, but this little piece of flat's $15. You're not, it really is going to be hard to find it in something besides a flat. All right, now we got a stop sign. Now that's the setup. 2 flange nuts on one of my 1/2-inch bolt arbors. Again, the run out's not going to be perfect on these, and I'm not going to even tell you it is. So we're going to set this thing up and start making some cuts. I already took one quick little cut just to make sure everything cleared, and now this is where patience is the key. Basically all we're doing, and don't pay attention that everything wobbly. I know it's not completely true. But what this is going to be for, it's got a little face run out, it's not going to be the end of the world. Basically it's going to be a gasket. I'm going to take a couple cuts for you and show you what I'm doing. And I'm using the regular steel insert because this tool needs to be shorter. And instead of using an aluminum one like I normally do. Because, and I'll be honest with you, I've used high-speed steel and I've had about as mixed results as you get. Alright, let me get started and get this thing round, see what the size is. Alright, what we're beginning to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave that lip a little bigger than I intended. And now I'm turning this down to where to fit inside the jar. And this is standing to be a little loose, so I'm going to turn it close to the size. What I've got is like a 1/4 inch lips, what I'm shooting for. So I'm going to keep working with the mics and measuring. Okay. So see, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take one more big cut. That'll get me down there close. Look like snowflakes, don't it? Alright, we'll try that and see what we look like once this comes off. And I may even, again, this isn't a run out critical operation, so I can put it back close to the same place. So I might get a number that looks good and just see what it looks like, because the measurements of this stuff is never exact. You're dealing with out around things like pottery. And alright, so I'm about 60 thousandths bigger than I think I need to be, so I'm going to take it out and look. And what I'm going to do is I've measured this, and I want a 1/4 inch lip. And what I'm doing is taking this coin bar and making me a mark. So I'll try to make sure I got it all the way around. I hadn't yet. I'll go in a little bit. This is all this is a reference mark for what we're going to be doing here in a little bit. Again, this isn't nothing but, this isn't precise. This is just like a gasket. You know, it's going to be like a ring seal. So now, what I'm going to do to make this lie simpler on me is I'm going to drill this and take a jigsaw and leave me some stock, and we'll just bore it out instead of trying to cut a tree panning tool. Okay, I've already sawed it out. Just drilled a couple holes, took a jigsaw, sawed the center out. So I'll have it. So what I'm doing now is just spacing this off to make it true. Real lightly. So it'll be true. And then we're going to bore it. And I've got these spaced. Just making sure you hear sounds don't sound good. We want to make sure. Again, there's no real size to any of this. This is all stuff that's got just basically bored to a point. Alright, now we're going to bore this. I've got a gap in it and I've used the pusher to line it up so it's true. And all the little, so we're going to use one of my conversion boring bars, and we're going to go in here and we're going to find the highest spot, and we're going to kind of lightly touch it. Then we're going to go through there and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and set me a stop just to be safe. I ain't got a lot of gap between there and the chuck jaw. Alright. So now we're going to start boring. Again, this has not got a size to it. I mean, I want something like a 1/4-inch wall, which I've already laid out on the other side. So what I'm going to do is once I get this completely round, I'm just going to grab a pair of calipers and check the bore to that 1/4-inch wall I'm shooting for. So this is sort of like the outside. We're just making it round. For me, it was a lot easier if I spend 30 minutes to drive the tree panning tool for one job like this. So I'll bring you back and I get it sort of cleaned up. Okay, if you'll notice, I still got some of the drill spots here where I drilled it, and I'm slowly boring it. And I'm using this big bar just because it's just a little bit stiffer up here. And we're having to be really close to the chuck jaws. And I've got them spaced out and pushed. Just I have to take light cuts too, so it's very time consuming. Well, there's my little ring made. Now all I got to do is deburr it and cut the burrs off the back. But that's my little ring to go in this here jar. Alright, that's the side view of this, and I'm just going to lay it in there like that. So the idea is that way when you put an umbrella, or that's what she wants to use it for, you won't be beating up against the crockery. So there is the bushing in the jar. Awful lot of cutting out a piece of plastic just to get that little bushing in it. Hope you enjoyed today's video. My friend Harold Waters, Amateur Redneck Workshop man, always teases me about being the king of Delrin. Well, you know, sometimes it's just a great material. It's very expensive. So I hope you enjoyed my little making this for the madam for a little household project. And it's a little different than you normally see on YouTube, but hey, we got to use some of my tools, and you got to see me cut some plastic and visit with me a little bit today. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is a copyright production. James Dedman, Saw Logs Plastic Hubs. I hope you came by today. If you're just stopping by on a whim, how about hitting that subscribe button? Subscriptions is always welcome to our channel. Got something to say, make a comment. If you want to like the video, please like it. You know, this is just another one of them little projects. This has been on my back burner, but I had to order a piece of Delrin to make this because I didn't have a flat piece big enough. And so that's the deal. And the reason I use a flat piece is pretty simple. Getting a round cut this much would probably be twice as expensive. So I got more time than money, as I always tell you. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. Tell your friends and your neighbors and all that people to stop by. And we'll see you in the very next video. You guys all have a great, wonderful day.